Free hit drafts, it's all a little bit samey, isn't it? Well, today we're going to show you 3 drafts. First up, a differential 11. Then we're going to show the template 11, and also we're going to be showing my 11. But first up, let's have a look at the teams to target. There are 16 teams playing in Game Week 32, but from the 3 drafts we're about to show you, I've only used players from 7 teams. Why? Well, there's clearly, for me, 7 teams we should identify and look for our player pool from those teams. Now, first up, of course, Arsenal and Liverpool. Every free hit draft should contain 6 players from those 2 teams, whether you're going rogue or not. For me, Arsenal and Liverpool, of course, are the standout teams playing this week, but also have the best fixtures. So look, from those 7 teams, 6 of them are home teams. Let's go through them one by one. So first up, Arsenal are at home to Southampton. Of course, we're going to want triple Arsenal. I guess the big question is, do we go triple Arsenal attack, or do we consider a defender or 2 even? Then we look at Liverpool. Okay, they've got Nottingham Forest at home, probably the best fixture of all when you consider Forest's away form is the worst in the Football League. Liverpool are flying high. And again, the question here is, do we go double Liverpool attack, or do we go double Liverpool defence? I think you'll probably guess which one I'm going for. Even before Monday night's game, I was pretty set on going double Liverpool attack. And look, many I think are going Robertson and Trent there, but maybe after Monday night's game, they'll now consider a Jota, for example. Aston Villa, next up, flying high, keeping loads of clean sheets, and Ollie Watkins is a man possessed at the moment. Well, they travel to Brentford. They're the only away team I'm considering in this player pool. Next up, Crystal Palace. Well, they've got home fixture against Everton. A lot of us will fancy Palace players. Fulham are at home to Leeds. Leeds shipping goals for fun. Leicester are at home to Wolves. Now, this is perhaps the most bizarre of all the choices from the 7, the one you might look at and go, oh, why is he looking at Leicester? Well, I wonder if they're going to turn a corner, and I wonder if we saw some signs against Man City which will suggest there's goals coming in this home fixture for them. And then Bournemouth at home to West Ham, a West Ham team that will have played on Thursday night in Europe. A West Ham team that could be tired. Bournemouth also looking pretty useful. So they're the teams we're targeting. Now let's have a look at these drafts. Okay, first up, let's have a look at my differential 11. Now, I have only put together an 11 here, likewise with a template. I think, subs don't matter too much at this point, and we're hopeful these 11 will play. So look, this draft features double Arsenal defence. Do we expect Arsenal to keep a clean sheet at home to Southampton? I think yes. You could go with 2 Arsenal defenders. Of course, the attacking options are great. And you'll see in my team, I've gone for attacking options. But look, Ramsdale and White. You could go Robertson instead of Trent. Again, Trent's the pick, surely. But then, of course, Crystal Palace defence as well. I think Guehi's a nice option. So 3 at the back. But then the midfield is where it gets a little bit more fun, right? So obviously this differential team can't contain a Mo Salah. So we've gone for Hakpo. Again, nice. I like it. Like, he's playing very well at the moment. He's going to start. He's scoring goals. Odegaard in there as well. Many, of course, will be on Martinelli and Saka, but Odegaard can be a bit of a flat track bully, guys. Odegaard against weaker opposition, I think, is a really nice option, and he's someone I'm considering for my team. Then we've got Wilson in there. Like, he's not been playing for Fulham. He plays last time out against Everton, and he looked absolutely superb. Like, yes, it was against Everton, and of course he's a Scouser from a former Liverpool player, but he's got a wand of a left foot, this guy, and I think he'll continue to start. And I think that home fixture against Leeds for Fulham is a really nice one. So you could look at Willian, you could look at Wilson, and I think there's goals there for Fulham this time out. And then again, same again at Bournemouth. Like, of course, the Bournemouth option people would consider in attack is Solanke, but why not Tavernier? Like, I think he's loads of fun. He played wing-back, but wing-back really advanced, almost like a wide forward. And I think he's really, really good. He shoots from range, cuts in on that left foot, really good option. And then look, this is a midfield 5, so I've also gone with Jordan Ayew. And later in the show, we're going to compare Eze, Elise and Ayew. They're all listed as midfielders, pretty much the same price. I've got some useful stats which will suggest Ayew is being massively, massively overlooked. Because we always look at points, don't we? And Eze and Elise have been getting the points of late. But when we look at some of the underlying stats, Ayew could be a man. And then look, the front 2, my captain in this team, Diogo Jota. I think off the back of Monday night, he continues to start, right? And that front three of Salah, Jota and Hakpo is going to be really hard for Klopp to want to rotate. And then Iheanacho. Like, I spoke a little bit about Leicester maybe turning a corner. Iheanacho came off the bench against his old club City and looked really, really good, didn't he? I think he starts against Wolves. And I think we know from Iheanacho, when he gets starts, he gets goals. And I think he could be really, really dangerous. Someone I'm really keen to get in my team. But is it Iheanacho or do you go safe with a Maddison? I'm still not decided. So that's our differential 11. I think this team is loads of fun. How many of these players will make it into my 11? Probably very few. But you're going to see now a template 11, and we'll compare the two, and then my team will probably be a hybrid of both of them. So let's have a look at that template 11. Now, this is an 11 that you will see on your Twitter timeline time and again. You will probably see on YouTube a ton. You will probably see a ton of content creators going with this exact team. This team is a very good, solid team. It's template often for a reason. There could be one or two slight changes to this team now. I think many will start to consider Jota instead of Robertson, for example. But we have Crystal Palace in goal. And again, you could go with Gaeta on the bench just in case he does start. But we've got Johnson in there. Trent and Robbo, double Liverpool defence with Trippier. Now, the big question will come down to that Newcastle Spurs game. Do you back Kane or do you back Trippier? Or do you back both of them? Personally, it's a fixture I don't want big investment in. And I think Newcastle could win and could win to nil. And Trippier is probably the smarter of the two picks. Whilst Harry Kane's been good this season and ticked along very nicely, the way Spurs are playing at the moment, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by Spurs' assets. So, Trippier with a double Liverpool defence. And then, of course, Salah. Eze is the popular Crystal Palace pick, so he's in there. He's been scoring goals of late. Low XG chances, albeit. And then it's Martinelli and Saka. Now, I think Martinelli and Saka, it's fair that they're in there. Odegaard's an amazing option, but I think Martinelli and Saka obviously are going to be the top two, right? And then Gabriel Jesus as well, because you could go Odegaard in a 5-man midfield, or you go 4-man midfield and go Jesus. So Jesus versus Odegaard's a bit of a question mark, but the template suggests at the moment that Jesus will be the pick. And then Solanke, the way he's been playing, you chuck him in, again against a tired West Ham. And you can't ignore Ollie Watkins either. Against his old club, by the way. Remember, he used to play for Brentford. And again, remember, this is the only player playing away from home. All the others are home picks when we look at these 7 teams. So the 7 teams that I spoke about at the top of the show, we have created the differential 11 and the template 11 from those teams. And when now I look at my 11, it's, again, the same 7 teams. So the template 11 looks good. I think I'll have loads of these guys. Remember, it might seem boring to always look at the template and go, oh, I don't want a template team. But just remember, there are a huge amount of FPL managers out there not on a free hit. So the fact you'll have the combination of all of these 11 players won't actually be template at all. Now, if you're watching this and you're not on a free hit, hopefully you're looking at players you might want to recruit on -4s or -8s to get to, say, a 10 or 9-man squad this week and still bring in these popular assets. Personally, if I could get to a 9-man team this week, I don't think I'd be using my free hit. But the way my squad is set up, I need my free hit for this week. Free hit 34, some are looking at, and I think there's huge upside there, and I completely get it. Again, if you get to 9-10 men this week, you don't need to free hit by any stretch. And the underwhelming thing about, second time I've said underwhelming, that's now a third. The slight issue with it this week is there's only 2 outstanding fixtures. Liverpool and Arsenal are great fixtures, but who are the other fixtures to target? Well, it's a bit tricky, as we spoke about earlier in the show. So let's have a look now at my 11. Now, I'm caveating this with, this is midweek, things can change. But at the moment, this is how I'm shaping up. I'm almost certainly going to be backing Crystal Palace defence, right? So I've got double goalkeeper there for Crystal Palace. I'm almost certainly, well, I am 100% only going to have one Liverpool defender, and I'm not going to have an Arsenal defender. So it's just Trent. Trippier is in there because I think he can keep a clean sheet and his bonus points and attacking threat is so good. Alex Moreno, I'm going for a clean sheet. His XG and XA in recent weeks has been brilliant. Turned provider so often. He's now playing 90 every week. I think Alex Moreno is a really nice differential shout, actually, for my 11. I'm seeing him on a lot of benches. He'll be in my 11 against Brentford. We need to keep Tony quiet. We need to keep Brentford quiet. But I think Villa can get a clean sheet here. Then I look at my midfield, and it's a midfield 4 at the moment. Martinelli and Saka are locked. It's do I go Odegaard or Jesus? At the moment, it's Jesus because I've got Salah in the midfield and then I've got Maddison. So the big question marks for me are, is it Maddison or Iheanacho? Is it Odegaard or Jesus? At the moment, I'm on Jesus and I'm on Maddison. And then the other 2 picks in there, Watkins, he's locked, and Diogo Jota's locked. And look, guys, when we look back at my points from last week, which I'll do in a sec, it's Watkins that's been killing my rank. So I'm really keen to keep Watkins in my team and have him for 1 week only. Now, captaincy this week, let's consider our options, shall we? It's Arsenal and it's Liverpool players, in my opinion. If you want to go safe, it's Salah. I'm going Salah because I think he'll get the most points. Nothing to do with effective ownership. But I do think Jota and Trent are smart punts too. And then, of course, you could look at Martinelli, the way he's flying at the moment. Personally, it's Liverpool for me for captaincy, and that is the standout fixture. But let's have a look at how I did get on last week very quickly. So it was a huge red arrow, and I don't want to dwell on this. The reason it was a big red arrow was Ollie Watkins. I put his 16 points on this team, and it's a really good score. But I've been stung by Watkins, and it was a foolish decision 5-6 weeks ago, whenever it was, to go Havertz over Watkins, and I've been punished by that. Fortunately, the likes of Solly March and Grealish coming into the 11, they've helped me out a little bit. All eyes are on getting Liverpool assets now. Trent and Salah coming in very soon. But enough about last week. Let's look forward. So, Crystal Palace midfielders. We've been impressed by Palace of late. When Roy Hodgson came in, we said we might buy some FPL assets here now from Crystal Palace, but we were looking at defenders. We thought we're going to get some clean sheets now from Crystal Palace. But actually, we got goals. We got loads of goals. We went and scored 5 against Leeds. They're shooting on sight. Eze looks impressive. Elise's a massive assist threat. And since Zaha's been out, Jordan Ayew's a really good option. So let's have a look, since Zaha's injury, at some of the numbers between Eze, Elise and Ayew. Remember, they are all listed as midfielders, even Ayew. They're all pretty much the same price. So, shots in the box. Okay, Eze and Elise, 2 and 1. Ayew, 6 shots in the box. That's impressive. Penalty area touches, it follows suit. Like, Eze slightly more than Elise, but then miles ahead of these guys, Jordan Ayew again, like constantly in the box. And then when we look at the XG, does that convert? Well, Eze's been scoring goals, 0.97, that's decent. Elise, we know there's very little goal threat there, but a ton of assist threat. And he got a hat-trick of assists last time, about a week ago, 0.15 XG. But again, top of these stats, Jordan Ayew for XG. And I do wonder, if we're on putting a Crystal Palace midfielder in our free hit 11, do we go Jordan Ayew? Now, at the moment, from the team I've just shown, you'll notice I've got Crystal Palace covered on my bench, Mark Gahey, but I do think you can definitely go there. And I think if I was going there, it would be Jordan Ayew. It really would be. So, there are our options. Crystal Palace midfield. Captaincy we've spoken about. I think it's pretty safe with Salah this week. If you're still umming and ahhing on do you free hit or don't you, I think you can get away without a free hit if you're taking, say, a -4 or a -8. If you're bringing in players like Liverpool players that you know are going to be really good for you, say, for example, from 34 onwards when they've got a double game week. So taking hits of players that you know are going to be added fixtures as well as playing this week, like Liverpool assets, I think you can probably avoid the free hit if you can get to 9 or 10 players. My team, without a free hit, literally it's like 5-6 players, wouldn't happen. But yeah, I think it's a smart decision. If you don't need to use it, you save it. But if, like me, you need it, it's hopefully going to be a high-scoring week, and these sorts of teams do well. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you again next week. But before you leave, if you fancy hitting that like and subscribe button, that'd be awesome. This point in the season, I completely appreciate many of you are switching off to FPL, but still there is lots to play for, and I promise you, you can jump up your mini leagues with a few differential shouts between now and the end of the season. So follow my journey and my tips to keep you interested till game week 38. But for now, guys, we'll see you very soon.